Welcome to NCERT Audibles. In this audiobook, we'll explore the first chapter of Class 11 NCERT Biology, titled The Living World. Let's dive into the fascinating diversity that surrounds us. If you look around, you will see a large variety of living organisms, be it potted plants, insects, birds, your pets, or other animals and plants. But there are also numerous organisms you cannot see with your naked eyes. Yet, they are all around you. If you expand the area of your observation, you will notice an increase in the range and variety of organisms. For example, visiting a dense forest reveals a much greater number and kinds of living organisms. Each different kind of plant, animal, or organism you see represents a species. The number of species known and described ranges between 1.7 and 1.8 million. This amazing variety of organisms is referred to as biodiversity. Remember, as we explore new areas and revisit the old ones, new organisms are continuously being identified. With millions of plants and animals in the world, we often know them by their local names. However, these local names vary from place to place, even within a country, which can lead to confusion. This highlights the need to standardize the naming of living organisms globally. This process is known as nomenclature. Nomenclature allows a particular organism to be known by the same name worldwide. But this is only possible when the organism is correctly described and identified. To facilitate this, scientists have established procedures to assign scientific names to each known organism, which are accepted universally by the biologists. For plants, these scientific names are based on principles provided by International Code for Botanical Nomenclature (ICBN). For animals, the International Code for Zoological Nomenclature (ICZN) is used. The scientific names ensure that each organism has only one name, making communication clearer and more efficient. Biologists follow universal accepted principles to provide scientific names to the organisms. Each name has two components, the generic name and the specific epithet. This system, known as binomial nomenclature, was introduced by Carlos Linnaeus and is practiced worldwide. Let's make the example of mango. Its scientific name is written as Mangifera indica. Here, Mangifera represents the genus, while indica is the specific epithet. Other universal rules of nomenclature includes biological names are generally in Latin and written in italics, irrespective of their origin. The first word in a biological name represents the genus, while the second denotes the specific epithet. Both words are underlined separately when handwritten. The genus name starts with a capital letter, and the specific epithet starts with a small letter. For example, Mangifera indica Linnaeus indicates that this species was first described by Linnaeus. The name of the author appears after the specific epithet in an abbreviated form. Let's move to the next topic, classification. Since it is nearly impossible to study all living organisms, classification becomes necessary. Classification is the process of grouping organisms into categories based on observable characteristics. For example, we recognize groups such as plants, animals, dogs, cats, or insects. When we use these terms, we associate certain characteristics with the organism in those groups. Think of a dog, you immediately picture an animal with certain features. Now, if we specify Alsatian, we understand a particular breed of dog. Similarly, if we mention mammals, we think of animals with external ears and body hair. All these groups, dogs, cats, mammals, wheat, rice, plants, animals, are categories used to study organisms. The scientific term for these categories is taxa. Taxa can indicate categories at different levels. For instance, animals, mammals, and dogs represent taxa at different levels. Taxonomy. Based on characteristics, all living organisms can be classified into different taxa. This process is called taxonomy. Modern taxonomic studies rely on external and internal structure, cell structure, development processes, and ecological information of organisms. The processes of characterization, identification, classification, and nomenclature are fundamental to taxonomy. Taxonomy has been around for a long time. Human beings have always been interested in learning about various organisms, particularly for their own use. Early classifications were based on the uses of organisms. Over time, humans became interested not only in the diversity of organisms, but also in their relationships. This study branch is known as systematics. Systematics derived from the Latin word systema, meaning systematic arrangement including identification, nomenclature, and classification, and considers evolutionary relationships. In this audiobook, we have explored the incredible diversity of the living world, the importance of the nomenclature, and the principles of classification and taxonomy. Thank you for listening to NCERT Audibles. Stay tuned for the next part of this chapter. Remember to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments.